let's talk a little bit about, some of the things that we talked about yesterday, actually. As expected, Apple's earnings were released today, and they weren't so hot. In fact, it's the first drop in quarterly revenue for the company since 2003. iPhone shipments dropped 16% compared to last year's strong upgrade cycle. More people seem to be resisting the upgrade this time around. That's according to Apple CFO Luca Maestri. iPad shipments also fell 19% year over year, and Mac sales dropped 12%, drops all around, including the stock, which dropped 7%. At least at my last checking about an hour and a half ago in after-hours trading. That's basically 7% amounts to $40 billion. No big deal.
Yeah, I like how Quartz pointed out that that's Netflix. Like, that's the value of Netflix.
They dropped the Netflix.
Yeah, just one Netflix.
Yeah. I don't know. So, Nathan, I have to imagine, it's Apple, right? Like, they rebound on this kind of stuff, or I imagine they would. It's been a really long time since they've seen this kind of drop. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. They're forecasting that the next quarter is also going to be down, so it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But honestly, I kind of feel like there's been high expectations placed on Apple for so long, and that hasn't always helped the company with investors. Even when they beat sales, if they don't have a large enough profit margin, then people are disappointed. So I think low expectations in a weird way might actually help take a little bit of pressure off of Apple for a little bit. But it's going to get worse before it gets better for sure, based off of basically what they're forecasting for the next quarter after this.
It is so interesting how we want so badly to put a story around this. It's like, it's tough times for this company that made $10 billion last quarter.
But they just lost $40 billion that.
Yes, it's a lot. But yeah, they brought in $50.6 billion. Just to me.
The numbers are so far outside of anything that we can kind of comprehend on a personal level.
Yes. And, when we talked to Rene Ritchie yesterday, he said, everyone's trying to put a story around it. Maybe services are the story. Maybe Apple Music is the story. And there's numbers there. They have 13 million paying subscribers, which seems great coming from 0 last year. But Spotify has 30 million. So, they're not there yet.
Analysts seem to be looking for a new category. Of course, now they're jumping to, okay, well, then iPhone, I guess that's not the money-making thing. So what's the next category? VR, virtual reality, of which we've heard nothing official from Apple. Apple's self-driving car, of which we've heard nothing official from Apple. Live TV service, which we've been expecting, hasn't happened. Any of these going to swoop in any time in the next couple of years? Do you think that's even conceivable to think that they could? And if they did, is one of those the new category?
I really think something has to happen here. They've been talking about television forever, and with the Apple TV, which has been relatively successful, the new version anyways, they've really pushed apps. And so we really need to see developers come up in a big way and get real creative there. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure at Apple at the Worldwide Developers Conference here pretty soon to really kind of lay out that vision and connect those dots to get everybody on board. I think this also puts more pressure on the iPhone 7 because the fact of the matter is that a TV service could be great, but for Apple, it's not a matured, situation yet. And Apple TV isn't a fully fleshed out, matured gaming platform, much less, video streaming platform yet, even though they've been at it for years, right? The Apple Watch still feels like a product that is kind of in a prototype type stage. But really, I think the iPhone 7 is where the pressure is going to be in the immediate term. The iPhone 6 set so many records and set the bar so high that when the iPhone 6S came out and sales weren't as high, I think that's kind of what we're seeing here play out. So now the sales slump is getting priced into the stock. I think it just puts more pressure on the iPhone 7. And I'd be curious to see if Apple sticks to this, regular S update, or if they're going to move to maybe, bigger updates for 7 and the subsequent phones because of these sorts of maybe a loss of excitement from consumers.
Mm-hmm.